Welcome to the Wolves in Sheep's Clothing channel, where we give you dope stories. I'm your Uncle Wolfie, and today we got a dope story called Ebony. Chapter 1. The back room of the bodega on Fulton was heavy with smoke and cheap liquor. Dice clacked across the wooden floor, money stacked high in rubber bands. Laughter mixed with curses as the local hustlers crowded the table, talking slick, throwing cash like it grew on trees. The door kicked open. Black stepped in first, calm, face half hidden under a black hoodie. Diamond and Bags flanked him, both masked, both armed. For a split second, the whole room froze. You could hear the ice melting in someone's cup. "Hey, yo, nobody move," Black said, voice low but steady. "Hands up, phones down." Somebody started to protest. A mistake. Bags didn't even think. He swung his pistol. Crack! The metal connecting with the side of the man's face. Blood splattered across the dice table. The whole room went silent after that. The hustlers backed off. Cash, chains, watches, all of it went into the duffel bag. Black didn't look nervous. He moved smooth, collected, like he'd done this before. But there was something in his eyes. Not greed, more like he was done. He was finished. A few minutes later, the three of them were back in the car, parked 2 blocks away, hearts still racing but grinning like wolves who made it out clean. They dumped the bag open. 45 grand, easy. "That's a good night work," Bag said, fanning his money. "Hell yeah," Diamond added. "Ain't nobody gonna miss that." Black just stared at the stack for a moment, then he smiled. Small, tired. "Y'all do what y'all want with your cut," he said. "Me, I'm done. I'm done after this." They laughed like they didn't believe him. "Come on, B," Bag said. "Ain't no out for us." "There is," Black said quietly. "You just gotta know when to stop before the streets stop you." They didn't say much after that. The car filled with the sound of bills rustling and old dreams echoing in the dark. Ebony sat under the bright lights of the beauty salon, hair halfway pressed, the hum of the blow dryer mixing with slow R&B from someone's phone speaker. The shop was closed, gate half down, but Shatasia had stayed late just for her. "You always come in here when I'm dead tired," Shatasia said, laughing. "Good thing I love you." "You know I appreciate you," Ebony smiled. "You ain't had to open this late. You the real one." They talk like sisters, about everything and nothing. "You really leaving, huh?" Shatasia asked, part curious, part said, "Yeah." Ebony said, "Hell yeah. Black's been talking about Atlanta for months. He said we could start clean down there. I'm going to open that coffee and internet spot I've been planning. No more hustling, no more streets. I finally get my man to myself." Shatasia nodded, eyes softening. "ATL, huh? You going to forget all about me." "Girl, please," Ebony laughed. "You coming too. You could run your own shop down there. Big spot, bright lights, maybe even your name on the window." "You serious?" "Dead serious. You've been saying you tired of working under people. Atlanta's cheaper. You could finally open your own." "You better ask that man first," Shatasia teased. "I will," Ebony said, smiling. "Soon as he get home." Shatasia paused, checking her phone. "You heard from Pretty lately?" Ebony asked. "Yeah, briefly. She been laying low." "She always laying low," Ebony said, shaking her head. "Hope she good." When her hair was done, Ebony hugged her friend and stepped out into the night. New curls, tired smile, a small hope in her chest that maybe, just maybe, things were really changing. She let herself into Black's apartment, a small but clean spot in Bed-Stuy. She had her own key. The place smelled like him. Cologne and smoke, faint hint of fried food. She dropped her bag, looked around. Dishes in the sink, hoodie on the couch. Ashtray full. Typical. Can't ever clean up after yourself, she muttered, rolling her eyes as she grabbed the towel and started tidying up. By the time Black came in, she had the stove lit, rice steaming, chicken frying slow. He stepped in the doorway, eyes lighting up. Damn, he said, grinning. You look good, baby. You always say that when you hungry, she teased. Nah. I mean it tonight, he said, stepping closer, dropping the hood of his hoodie. She smiled, brushing him off playfully. How was your day? It was all right, he said. Then he unzipped his Gucci book bag and spilled stacks of cash across the bed. Ebony froze mid-stare, watching the bills spread out on her freshly made sheets. Black, she snapped. You really just dumped that dirty money on my clean bed. Ain't dirty no more, he said, smirking. I just put these sheets on. Aye, he laughed, scooping the bills back into the bag. She shook her head. You smell like the streets, she said. Go shower. I ain't eating with you smelling like Brooklyn traffic. He chuckled, kissed her on the forehead, and disappeared into the bathroom. Ebony turned off the stove, grabbing a plate, and started serving food. Rice, chicken, and peace. For the moment, she looked toward the bathroom door and smiled softly. Chapter 2. The next morning came soft and golden, sunlight spilling through the blinds, painting lines across the sheets. Ebony blinked awake, half asleep, hair messy, body still warm from the night before. The smell of eggs and butter filled the air, mixing with the sound of bacon popping in the pan. She stretched and yawned, slipping out of bed, bare feet on the cool floor. When she turned the corner into the kitchen, she stopped. Black was standing there, shirtless, moving slow, humming to himself while flipping pancakes. The sun hit his back, glinting off the chain around his neck. He didn't even notice her watching. For a moment, she just stood there, smiling, completely smitten. That was her man, her protector, her peace, her headache, her everything. He'd been in her life since she was barely grown. Back when her mother, Jackie, was already deep into the crack pipe. Most men in the neighborhood didn't care about Jackie. And the dealers she got her crack from, they ran their mouths, disrespected her mama, and tried to play her cheap. Black didn't hesitate. He stood up for her mother when nobody else would. She'd had a crush on him since she was a teenager. He was 23, she was 17. Still a girl in some ways, but old enough to know what she wanted. He never flirted back, not at first. He just looked at her, make sure she and her sisters had food, slipped her money for some clothes, checked on her mama when she was too ashamed to. But one day that changed. He started calling her Shorty. He started calling her Shorty with a smile that lingered. Started waiting outside the Starbucks after her shifts. Started bringing her little gifts. A pair of sneakers, a bracelet, a teddy bear. She remembered the day she truly fell for him. The day one of the dealers her mother got her stuff from ran his mouth about Jackie. Black did not hesitate. He dragged the man out into the middle of the street and beat him bloody while the whole block watched. From that day on, nobody in that circle of dealers disrespected Jackie again. And from that day on, Ebony knew Black was the one. He waited until she turned 18 before they ever even crossed that line. After that, they had sex. She was a virgin. After that, he took care of her like a boyfriend and a father all in one. She didn't need for nothing. She smiled as she leaned against the doorway. You ain't here playing chef? Black turned, flashing that lazy grin. Trying to surprise you, he said, but you always wake up too fast. She walked over, slid her arms around his waist from behind. You could have fooled me. Smell good, though. He chuckled, flipped the last pancake, and started plating up. They sat down together, morning light wrapping around them like a blanket. It felt good. It felt quiet. Atlanta's really happening, Ebony said, taking a bite of her food. We've been planning this forever. Dead serious, Black said. That hit last night, that was it for me. I'm done. I finally got enough, stacked enough to start fresh. Her eyes lit up. I can't wait. Within a moment, within a month, we'll be out of here. I got the house already lined up. 4 bedrooms, backyard, quiet block. You could open that cafe you've been dreaming about. I'm starting my trucking business. Ebony's heart jumped. This was really happening. Can I ask you something? She said. You already about to, he said, laughing. You know me too well, she said, smirking. What you think about Shatasia coming down there with us? She been holding me down for years. Black chuckled. I knew you was gonna ask that, he said. And yeah, that's cool. Matter of fact, my real estate guy in ATL just told me about a cheap spot. Perfect for a salon. I could scoop it up for her. Plus I'll put $5,000 to her startup. Ebony's jaw dropped. You serious? Of course, he said. I know how much she means to you. If we start a new life, everybody who deserves should be there with us to win, so they can win too. Her eyes softened. She stared at him with that same quiet awe she always felt when around him. Then she smiled again. That smile could melt her whole mood. Oh, and I got another surprise, he said. Your mama and Mecca, they coming too. She froze, fork halfway to her mouth. What? Yeah, the house got 4 bedrooms, he said. For them, each get a room. And one for you and your bears. She laughed. My bears? Yeah, he said, smirking. You can finally have that teddy bear orphanage you keep talking about. She playfully swatted at him, but her eyes were glossy now. Black knew her like nobody else did, from her trauma to her little obsessions. He spent more money at Build-A-Bear than some people spent on rent. He'd even ordered rare ones for her from overseas. You really did all this, she whispered? Or for you? They ate the rest of the breakfast in a calm, peaceful silence, both of them imagining the future. Blue skies, a little house down south, no sirens, no corners, no hustles, just love. That night, Black met up with Diamond and Bags at a lounge in downtown Brooklyn. The lights were low, music humming, and the liquor was flowing. They laughed like old friends talking about last night's robbery. That spot was too easy, Diamond said, sipping his drink. Man, I got another one lined up. Big money this time. 50 grand a piece, plus product. Bag's eyes lit up. For real? Yeah, nigga, Diamond said. Ain't no risk either. Clean in, clean out. Black leaned back, shaking his head. I'm good, bro. I told y'all I'm done. ATL bound. Me and Ebony starting over. Bags grown. You crazy, Black. You really leaving this kind of money on the table? Money don't mean nothing if you can't spend it free, nigga. Black said. I'm tired of watching my back. I'm trying to live. Diamond stared at him for a long second, then nodded slowly. Respect, bro. Respect. For real. They toasted their glasses together, the 3 of them laughing again, talking old stories. When the night was over, Black dropped Diamond off at the projects. They dapped each other through the car window. Love you, bro, Diamond said. For real. You always looked out for a nigga. I wish you and Shorty the best out there. Same, bro, Black said. Be smart, all right? Ain't nothing out here but concrete and caskets. Nah, we gonna get that big bag, though, Diamond said, smirking. You know me. Yeah, Black said quietly. That's what I'm scared of. Diamond laughed, backed away, and disappeared into the shadows of the buildings. Black sat there for a second longer, staring at the city, lights reflecting off the windshield. He smiled, shook his head, and pulled off. All he could think about was Ebony. He's gonna finally give her the fairy tale life he knew she deserved. Chapter 3. Diamond and Bags sat in a corner booth at Brooklyn Chop House, the rich smell of buttered steak and garlic filling the air. They were mid-steak, sipping red wine, waiting for their homie. Where this fool at? Bags muttered, stabbing his steak. Patience, man, Diamond said. He said 5 minutes. He probably on his way. The door swung open. Bourne walked in, tall, calm, and confident. He scanned the room, nodded at them, and slid into the booth. Yo, let me get a water when Mint leaves, he said to the waiter. Diamond smirked. Hey, yo, Bourne, what's so important that you had to pull us out tonight? Bourne leaned in, lowering his voice. The heist, the one I had planned for you, for 150K, forget that. It's changed. Bags raised an eyebrow. Change how? 500,000, Bourne said. But there's a catch. You need 3 people. Only 3 people can pull it off. And you need Black involved if you want that money. No Black, no deal. Diamond and Bags exchanged looks. 500,000 was tempting, but involving Black meant pulling him back into the streets he was trying to leave. Across in another borough, Ebony, Shatasia, and Pretty were laughing over mimosas and avocado toast at a hot spot in Queens. So what's new with Atlanta plans? Shatasia asked, sipping her drink. Ebony grinned. Black said you could come too. He got a friend there who's lining you up with a salon spot for you. And get this, he gonna give you $5 grand startup money. Shatasia nearly spat out her mimosa. $5 grand? Baby, I'm in. I ain't having no threesome with y'all though, she joked, and all 3 women burst out laughing. Pretty waved her hands dramatically. See, that's what I'm talking about. That man, that man is good. That man and you is good relationship goals. Ebony, you lucked up. Ebony laughed, nudging her friend. I know, right? Pretty smirked. Man, I'm coming to ATL with y'all too. I'm trying to get on one of those love and hip hop type shows. Might as well start the drama early. The woman clinked glasses. Sunlight and laughter wrapped around them. A rare moment of joy before reality called them back. Later that night, Black sat on the fire escape outside his apartment. The city lights stretched below him like a web. Smoke curled from his blunt. Atlanta, the house, the cafe, the fresh start. It all felt real for the first time. Footsteps on the stairs made him glance up. Diamond and Bags leaned against the railing. We need to talk, Diamond said. Black exhaled, blowing smoke into the night. What's up? Bags stepped closer. Bourne called. He changed the plan. Black raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. The heist, the 150K, forget that. Bourne saying it's 500K now, Diamond said. But it's a 3-man job. We need 3 people to do it. You gotta be one of them if you want that money, Black. Black shook his head. You serious? I'm done with that life, bro. Atlanta's the plan. I'm out. I told y'all this is it. Bags leaned on the railing, frustration clear. You crazy, Black? 500,000? That's a lifetime, man. I don't need a lifetime in cash if it comes with a lifetime in change, Black said quietly. I'm done with that. I'm done. I'm done watching my back, done worrying about snakes, done worrying about shooters. Diamond stepped closer. Look, I get that, bro. But think bigger. You, me, Bags, we could walk out with a bag that changes everything. You could help set it up. Smart, clean, no bullshit. Black shook his head again. I appreciate y'all, but I can't. I got a real life waiting for me. Atlanta, Ebony, fam. I can't throw that away for a bag, no matter how fat it is. Bag's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Ayo, respect, man. But just know, we gonna do it anyway. Just hope y'all careful. That's all we can ask. Black exhaled, flicking the blunt over the railing. I wish you luck, bro. Be smart. Don't bring that mess to my door, though. Diamond and Bags exchanged a look. frustration, respect, and understanding, all at once. They knew Black had made his choice. No money could pull him back. As they left, Black leaned against the wall, staring at the skyline. Atlanta was calling, bright and clean, and for the first time, he felt he could breathe. Chapter 4. Ebony eased her Benz CLA 250 under the Brooklyn Queens Expressway overpass, parallel parking like she owned the block. Today, she was visiting her mother, Jacqueline, and her 16-year-old sister, Mecca. She stepped out, adjusted her jacket, and walked through the streets, stopping briefly to nod or exchange words with familiar faces. This was home, gritty, loud, alive. A group of teenage boys lingered nearby, and she spotted Mecca, laughing with them. Ebony waved, and Mecca reluctantly abandoned her friends, jogging over to join her. Together, they made their way to their mother's apartment. Even though Jackie was a crack addict, the house was surprisingly clean, almost sterile, like a hospital. Ebony shook her head, half in admiration, half in disbelief. Mama, Ebony said, hugging her mother, you know we really leaving for Atlanta soon. Jackie's eyes flickered with both pride and worry. Y'all just leaving me? She asked, her voice soft. Ebony smiled. Nah, Mama. Black bought a big house, big enough for all of us. Me, you, Mecca, everyone's coming. Fresh start for all of us. Jacqueline's expression softened, tears threatening to spill. I could use a fresh start, she admitted, smiling weakly. Mecca bounced on the balls of her feet. Atlanta? For real? For real, Ebony said, ruffling her little sister's hair. Pack your stuff. Jackie looked around the pristine apartment. Small smile forming. Oh, all right, we'll do it. We'll go. Meanwhile, Black sat in his Benz E-Class, phone pressed to his ear as he spoke with his real estate guy. Yeah, the 4-bedroom house for them? Perfect. And the other 2 properties? One for Ebony's Cafe, the other for Shatasia's shop? Got it. He hung up, leaning back in his seat. His thoughts wandered. Ebony. His heart swelled. He reflected on Frank, Ebony's father figure, in the streets, who had taught him the game. Frank had taken 14-year-old Black in after his mother overdosed, kept him from the foster system, gave him an apartment, drugs to sell, and the tools to survive. Frank had become the mentor Black never asked for but desperately needed. When Frank died in jail, Black carried that responsibility forward, looking out for family, protecting what mattered. Ebony had caught him by surprise. First, he was attracted to her. Then he had fallen in love. Taking her and her family to Atlanta, giving him a future, felt like paying forward everything Frank had taught him. Pride and love mixed in his chest as he exhaled slowly, staring at the city lights. His phone buzzed. It was Ebony. Don't forget movie night tonight, she said with a playful tone. He smiled, chuckling the phone aside as Diamond called on the other line. Yo, Black, Bourne said. Nah, Diamond, not happening. I'm done. ATL's the plan, no more, Black interrupted. Diamond's voice went quiet for a second before he tried again, pleading, reasoning, offering promises of wealth. Black stayed firm. He wouldn't be pulled back into the game. Across Brownsville, Brooklyn, Shatasia was at Pretty's house. Shatasia getting her hair done while the two laughed and chatted. Atlanta's gonna be amazing, Pretty said, running her comb through Shatasia's hair. You'll see. I got family out there. Y'all gonna be good. Shatasia laughed, brushing the strand from her face. Family, huh? You got family everywhere, I swear. You got cousins, aunties, uncles in every borough. Pretty smirked. Better be ready for the culture shock, girl, but it'll be fun. Y'all gonna love it. The friends joked about some more, sharing stories of Brooklyn, their dreams, and the life waiting for them in Atlanta. Excitement and anticipation crackled between them. Later that night, Ebony and Black enjoyed their own time together. Black lit candles, dimmed the lights, and poured wine as Ebony stepped into the apartment. Their date night was simple but intimate. Just the two of them. Laughter, shared memories, and plans for the future. You ready for this? Ebony asked, settling in next to him. Always, Black said. ATL, fresh start, us, nothing else matters. They ate, drank, and talked late into the night. The city outside buzzing but distant, almost irrelevant compared to the world they were building together. Meanwhile, Diamond and Bags executed the plan with Bourne as a third man. The streets of Brooklyn blurred past as they moved like ghosts, smooth and calculated. Bourne's eyes scanned every corner, Diamond's hands steady and Bags' nerves taut. The 500K was theirs for the taking, a dangerous high-stakes last run before Black's clean break. And somewhere unseen but inevitable, all these paths were beginning to converge. The streets ready to test loyalties, love, and survival. Chapter 5. The air off the water was thin and sharp, the kind of late afternoon cold that makes you pull your jacket up to your chin. 2 days after the heist, Diamond, Bags, and Black met at the Canarsie Pier like men who'd done business and were trying to make peace with themselves. Black was the last to pull up. He climbed out of his Benz, hood down, face open to the bay. Diamond and Bags were there already, leaning on the railing, looking out over the Jamaica Bay as if the city could wash the past away. "You made it," Diamond said, clapping him on the shoulder. Bags produced a small duffel and set it on the pier between them. He unzipped it and let a stack of bills fall into Black's hands. 25,000, folded and heavy. It wasn't the bag they'd taken, not nearly, but it was blood money turned into a goodbye. "For you, son. For you and the fam, man," Bags said. "Not much, but it's something to get you started." Black looked at the cash, then at his friends. There was gratitude there, and a wavering shame. The money came from the same night they promised to leave behind. He closed his fingers around the bills like he could hold the future. "Appreciate it," Black said. "For real. Word, I owe y'all." They hugged, 3 men holding on in the cold, faces pressed into shoulders the way you do when you don't know what to say. Then they stepped apart, each walking a little slower than before, trying to keep from looking back. From the shadows of the pier's parking lot, someone watched the exchange. A silhouette hunched low, hood up, eyes tracking every move. They watched the money pass hands, watched the 3 men embrace. The figure didn't move until the men left the pier, and the moon took over the sky. A burrow over, the moon was the opposite of the pier, bright, chaotic, and full of possibility. Shatasia and Pretty pushed the car through, along with Ebony, through Target in downtown Brooklyn, filling it like bridesmaids at a wedding shower. They snagged mugs, mismatched throw pillows, inexpensive cutlery, and a ridiculous number of teddy bears. "Yo, we really doing this," Shatasia said, holding up a floral apron like it was couture. "We the Black Golden Girls. Ow," Pretty crowed, striking a pose beside a display of bath towels. "Y'all better believe this." They laughed like the world was theirs. They stacked a tower of motel-style coffee makers and cute chalkboard signs for Ebony's future cafe. Shatasia tucked promotional flyers from a salon supply display into the cart like it was a promise. Pretty strutted down the aisle, already practicing how she announced herself to Atlanta. "Ebony, your cafe's gonna be everything," Pretty said, eyes sparkling. "People gonna line up down the block. And Shatasia, your shop's gonna have lines out the door." Ebony answered, bumping her shoulder with hers. "You gonna put your name on the window and everything. And you, Pretty, start rehearsing your confessional," Shatasia joked. "You know you're gonna be starring on all of them reality shows soon." "I told y'all," Pretty said, waving a manicured finger. "I got family in ATL. We gonna make it a whole movement." They high-fived at the register, bags bulging, receipts a thin paper trail toward a new life. For a few hours, the future looked neat and packaged, like the stacks of home goods around them, clean, affordable, domestic. They left Target with their arms full and a giggle in their throats. The city folded its corners away as if making room for them to leave. In Midtown Manhattan, under a chandelier that threw fat diamonds of light across a marble table, Jerome Bigger Biggs sat with an associate and a plate of the kind of food the poor are not used to. Bigger had been a hustler from Harlem who'd been trying lately to look legit, tailored suits, lunch meetings, an air of respectability that only thinly covered the old hunger. He heard a lot about the heist by the time the check arrived. He heard the details, and he had heard the one dangerous fact: 500,000 had been taken from under him. Bigger's face was quiet at first, his eyes the coldest kind of calm. He tapped his fork against the plate, watching the associate like a man watching a young pup test a fence. You tell me everything, he said. I want names, I want times, I want where they've been seen. The associate rattled off what he knew: whispers, sightings, rumors. Bourne's name came up. Diamond in bags, too. Bigger's jaw tightened until it looked like he was trying to hold something inside. Then he pushed his plate away and sat back, his voice small and dangerous. They lost me 500,000, he said, each word measured. That ain't money. That's respect. That's power. That's a message. What you want to do? The associate asked, voice low. Bigger's answer came slow, like frost spreading over a window. I want everybody responsible dead, he said. Families, pets, whoever. Everything they love. I want it gone. And I don't want to hear reasons. I want results. The associate's face stayed blank, but the air between them changed. It was no longer a lunch about going legit. It was a war council. Bigger finished his wine, set a crisp bill on the table, and stood. He left the plate untouched, the taste of it soured now by revenge. Outside, Midtown hummed with his usual calm of taxis and tourists, none of them knowing that somewhere in the city, a man just ordered a mess no one could walk back from. At the pier, the shadow watcher drove away from the parking lot and slipped back into the night, phone already in hand. At Target, the girls zipped up their bags and imagined a house with the backyard and a room for teddy bears. And in Midtown, Bigger walked out with a plan that would not stop until someone paid. 2 days after the money changed hands, the city felt smaller and meaner. The river kept flowing. Girls kept laughing. Over everything, the smell of consequence was thick and coming fast.